I'm Darren McCarthy.
I'm Dan Fury.
And this is The Fundamentals. So, as we mentioned before, we're talking about Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease.
Yeah.
For those playing at home, that's Creutzfeldt hyphen.
Yep.
Jakob. Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease.
Is this named after someone or ones?
You know, that never actually even came up.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think
I thought for sure.
There's a few other diseases that are closely related, and then when you read those, it just kind of says, it's like Smith and Smith discovered this other disease that was closely related to Creutzfeldt-Jakob. Like, well, who was that? I think it might have been like, I don't know, first patient or something.
It usually is like the first patient or the doctor.
Yeah, or the first person that. Yeah, so we talked a little bit about it.
Well, really, what inspired you to come upon it or to research it?
Right. Yeah, and chronic wasting disease.
Yeah,
kind of was like it's also like this in deer and elk and yada yada. I think the sheep and goat version I said it was like called shakers. It's called scrapey. I knew it was something about their behavior because they like would scrape against stuff.
Oh,
and then they have these like bald patches.
Correction, they don't do that probably enough.
Oh, Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease is named after its discoverers, German pathologist Hans Gerhard Creutzfeldt and German neurologist Alfons Maria.
There we go.
Jakob.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so it's not really that important to me. I don't know anything about these people. Just like the opiates, some German dudes just got involved. I think we previously touched on like kind of the other chronic wasting disease version of it. That's the deer and the elk version of it. And it's fairly analogous, just with the symptoms, and then it's fatal.
In people.
Yeah. So essentially it's like your brain turns into a sponge.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And so it's kind of this family of diseases known as TSEs. So that's where like the mad cow disease is also TSE, the chronic wastings, all that. So that's the transmissible spongiform encephalopathies. And the Creutzfeldt-Jakob is the most common of the known human ones. And good news is it only affects 1 in a million people. So that's
One in a million.
That's the most common version.
Wow.
And it's still 1 in a million. So very rare to get it. By and large, it hits you when you're 60 or older.
Interesting.
That's like there's a few different kinds that you can get. And that's the most common one. It's just sporadic Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. So it's just kind of, whoa, that came out of nowhere. You know,
where does it come from?
Very good question. Yeah. It's not exactly known.
Really?
And it seems to be transmissible from person to, like, from a person who has the disease to someone who doesn't and probably wouldn't otherwise get it. But only through, not like casually, like not like, oh, I have it and I sneezed and it's in the air and you got it. It's much more like direct contact with brain tissue. So,
whoa,
there have been a few cases of someone going in for some sort of brain surgery, not related to this, like another kind of brain surgery or operation or something, and having these electrodes inserted into their brain tissue that have this. They were not adequately sterilized, like the electrodes.
Right. And
it transmits the disease that way. There's also doing grafts of like, there's like this, I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but there's kind of this coating over your brain. And like some people, I think there's a grafting of that onto someone else. It can transmit that, but it's pretty much like direct contact with someone else's like brain tissue, not just shaking your hand or anything like that.
So once you find this in your brain, it is fatal, right?
Yeah, pretty much from the onset of symptoms, it's about a year.
Really?
And you're dead.
You sponge up that fast?
Pretty quick, yeah.
So you just have not enough neurons to fire what you need to.
Yeah, you kind of go into a coma, and then I think it seems
cruel.
Like pneumonia will end up kind of killing you. You know, it's one of those things where it's like AIDS doesn't kill you. You have AIDS and it's so deplete your body, and then you get a cold, and then you die.
Right.
You know, it's not like that. Something else is going to get you before your brain would shut down. Pretty crazy. Well, let's get back to all right. So there's three major kinds. So there's the sporadic. There's no indicators, nothing. No one in your family had it or anything. It just hits you, and that's the most common version of it, which is unfortunate because it's kind of like you can't really screen for it. There's a hereditary version of it, but that's only like 5 to 10% of the cases in the United States, at least, and I think that probably is true across the board. Is it hereditary? And then acquired is where it's like, you're exposed to it.
Right.
So again, someone's brain tissue. So that's very rare that would happen.
So this is 3 different types of Creutzfeldt-Jakob?
Yeah. Well, it's all the same as like how you got it, you know. So for the most part, it's just kind of there's no other indicators or, you know, I haven't touched anyone else's brain. No one in my family's touched anyone else's brain. And I have Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease.
What happened?
Yeah, so Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease was first described in 1920, but of course, you know, it's existed longer than that. And there's a few other diseases that are very closely related, and we'll get into those, that are like unique to certain populations throughout history. Yeah, so fewer than 1% of cases have been the acquired kind, like, you know,
brain toucher.
Yeah, something happened, which kind of makes sense because it's very rare. One of the other things they said too, it could be a cornea transplant. Like if someone had this, didn't know it, or like didn't know when they died that they had this for some reason, and then maybe they're an organ donor,
right?
You know, or something, and you have a cornea transplant, and that's another way it's believed that you could get it.
Weird.
So there's a few other human versions of TSEs, the transmissible spongiform encephalopathy. Kuru is the one that I kind of want to get into. It was the most interesting, and I think we mentioned this before on the previous one of like, you know, how far back in our history will we have to go before we have an answer who's eaten human
flesh.
So Kuru, which I guess isn't the same thing, but it seems to be, to me, it seems like it's the same thing. I don't know. I think it's just because it's such a unique population thing.
Right.
It seems different, but isolated in Papua New Guinea, where they were eating people as, you know, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, they're still engaging in cannibalism. And when they would cook someone, like this could be their family member that they're eating, and they're supposed to be, it's releasing their spirit. And it was kind of like, the custom was that the women and children ate the brain. So it was mostly women and children getting this
weird
disease. It can also kind of stay isolated or dormant for like 50 years. And this is kind of the same thing, a similar thing with mad cow disease. Like if you lived in Britain or a place where beef that may have been contaminated for more than 3 months, you're not supposed to donate blood in the United States because it could just be in your blood and you don't know. There's not any test for it. Scrapie, we mentioned, is the sheep version for sheep and goat. There's a few other too for cats.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then mink, you know, the little weaselly thing, and then elk, deer, and some kind of random zoo animals. There's some version of this. So I think there's a few slight differences. I mean, just with deer, it could be like in their saliva, you know, but then also because pretty much every time a deer dies, something is ripping it apart. It's not necessarily isolated. So, and it's not getting buried under the ground where only bugs are going to get it. Right. So other big animals are going to pick it apart.
Yeah.
You know, and so then even if it's not like transmissible across species, they're spreading this material, which is then viable for years. So let's say a deer is killed and eaten on the spot. Well, it's probably in a spot where deer go anyway. Yeah. So a couple of years later, maybe, I mean, everything's gone, but the spores or whatever,
still contact.
Still contact there. Those transmissible fluids are we'll get into what they think causes this too.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's the scary thing with that is like it's just exposed.
Oh no.
It'd be like us walking around where people's brains had been, and it's like phantoms just like around you all the time. Phantom brain.
No.
It's terrible. So let's get into maybe some of the symptoms, and let's just stick with the sporadic onset one. So it's the most common one. It's mostly people that are 60 or older. It's just rapidly progressive dementia. I mean, just almost immediate. And
that is what eventually happens at it takes longer for that to happen, but that is essentially what happens in Alzheimer's and dementia is holes in the brain.
That's scary. Right? I'm not quite sure about dementia or what causes that. I mean, I don't think it is the same because when they do testing for this, they kind of rule out some things. I think Alzheimer's you could pick up like in an MRI. I think it's a spot in the brain, and with this you can't. And we'll get into that as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, this just begins with rapidly progressing dementia. And then you might have these problems with just like coordination, memory issues, judgment, impaired vision, some insomnia, depression, just sensations. Just what you would expect with tiny microscopic holes were appearing in your brain. Like your functions are just very quickly leaving you. No flu-like symptoms either. So it's not like, something. It's just, you just start
feeling dumb.
Basically start slipping into a coma. Ugh. Like your body's kind of on shutdown procedure, but it might take a year. You're just shutting down. People that have this might just develop like involuntary muscle tics. You might go blind. Maybe you can't move or speak. And that's kind of the eventuality. It's like you just become a vegetable and then enter a coma. Yeah, and then pneumonia is a big killer, or some other infection will come and wipe you out.
Really?
Yeah, the end of life care, or pretty much the care throughout the process, because there's no cure. It's just pretty much 100% fatal, and it takes about a year, is just make you comfortable. So opiates are a big part of the care.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, tie it right in. You just kind of, they keep you loaded. And
management.
Yeah. And you just sail off into the morphine-induced sunset.
Man.
Yeah, so this gets into a little bit about the Alzheimer's. There are a few different variants of the disease, and one of which seems to affect younger people, and it takes longer to kill you. It's the same thing, but this is still kind of being researched, like why that is. So it's not exactly certain, like, what is making this early onset, and then it's a slower burn. And then there's also another kind that is mainly found in Japan. I think that it's probably just like subsets of the same thing, but doesn't seem to be super well understood. But those other variants, like the symptoms will last for years, potentially. So it's not just like a 1-year death sentence, but those are just kind of variants I thought I'd mention. But I think like the bulk of people that get this, it's 1 year and you're cooked. Yeah, and it's not entirely sure like what causes the variations or what's special about like the Japanese makeup that they have as their own thing here. Now for some really fun terror. There is no single diagnostic test.
Of course not.
And pretty much the best way to tell is after you're dead, they do an autopsy and say, yeah, we were right.
Yep, there it is.
These little holes. And there are...
So they're super, super tiny.
Yeah, like microscopic. You have to look under a microscope to see it. So when you first go in, this is not like the number one thing they're going to think of. I mean, it's extremely rare too. So they just start ruling out things in general. So they'll work big to small. So they'll start with dementia or some other like inflammation of the brain, meningitis. They're going to kind of test you up for Alzheimer's. They'll do the EEG. So that's the electroencephalogram. Yeah, EEG, to record the brain's electrical pattern. So this like kind of keep track of your brain. Then they'll do like an MRI, and it comes down to like a brain biopsy or autopsy. So they can go in and take like a tiny piece of your brain or brain tissue and then check that out. But it's extremely, risky to do that. And it also might not be the part, they're just taking a piece of the brain they think this is going to be in, but it could still be somewhere else in the brain. It just hasn't spread throughout the whole brain yet. So it's kind of like a shot in the dark.
Total crapshoot.
Yeah. And also, there's still no cure anyway. So it's just kind of like, oh yeah, you're totally screwed. So a lot of times they don't even they won't even elect to do that. And then it's also, you might be exposing someone to contaminated brain tissue.
Ooh.
So it's kind of like better to keep it in your head.
Yeah, keep it to yourself.
Yeah, and they're working on a few tests now, and like from spinal fluid, and they can look at some indicators. Maybe they can figure something out there.
That's powerful stuff.
Yeah, but again, it's like until there's a cure, I don't know.
It doesn't seem like that's something you can cure, just like Alzheimer's.
Well, even if there is you have to catch it. I'm sure at some point. The scary thing is how quick it takes you.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it's like 2 months, like, yeah, we were right. We got treatment in there. You're fine. It's like, well, you were 1/6 of the journey to being in a coma and then getting the flu and dying.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm sure you're going to be severely...
You're at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Regardless.
You're going to be messed up.
Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah.
Any indication as to why 60 plus is the general range?
Not really. I think it's, and there's some, those variants that affect younger people, but it just seems to be, well, the way I read it was the transmissible fluids and tissue, or the transmissible parts, can be viable for like 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like the last person to die in Papua New Guinea of that Kuru disease just died from it, like in 2009.
Mm.
And they stopped eating people in like the 50s or 60s. I mean, so they probably had it, or maybe it was a genetic version, but they think like, yeah, this could just be dormant for 50 years. Like you could have it and then all of a sudden just pops up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's just like, maybe you're just born with some weird genetics that makes you more susceptible, and then your body, like the cells in your body replicate enough times.
Activation.
It's not really clear. Like it's not really known what causes it.
Yeah.
There's a few theories kind of what causes this.
Good. We're getting somewhere.
But it's a theory because, so we're going to get into this type of protein called a prion. And this is a little confusing, maybe without visuals for the listener, but I tried to just try to get a good rough outline that I can explain. So I'll start with saying that it's believed that prions, this type of protein, is what causes this disease. There's a defect in like the way this protein is arranged. So let's just, for the sake of like a visual, say that this protein is supposed to be like a flat piece of paper, and this version is just like a fold up in origami.
Mm. Okay.
Say you're exposed to the brain tissue from someone who has the Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. There's this folded version of the protein that they probably weren't born with. Like they had a flat piece of paper, and then for some reason, the proteins in their brain tissue folded up. If that is put into your body, the proteins in your brain tissue will start to replicate and kind of copy this folded version. Now, the weird thing is that there's no DNA or RNA. Like there's no genetic information in the protein. It's just kind of like, be like someone walking into this room and then you and I shape-shifting to match, like without any sort of, it's not like it's copying and the cell splitting and then it's making like a cancer cell splitting, and then now you have 2 cancer cells that then go on to split, and then you have 4 cancer, and so then before you know it, you have a ton of cancer cells. This is just like a poorly folded piece, or a piece of paper that shouldn't have been folded is folded, and now all these other pieces of paper are like folding. And then they're really stable when they're folded up too. So it makes it really difficult to just destroy these proteins, like the other proteins will break down under certain circumstances, and these ones for some reason won't. And they think that this is kind of where like these proteins are folding up and then globbing onto each other, and then that is somehow like burning out the neurons in your brain, which then makes your brain a sponge.
Okay.
So they're affecting the proteins in your brain, like in the cells in your brain, and they're folding up and then causing some disruption to the function.
Yeah.
This is all still kind of argued in theory and theorized. That's also the weird thing, and it might explain why it could be 50 years, because it's not like a necessarily like genetic information that's just gonna degrade, and it's also kind of a stable form, so it could just sit there for 50 years. Yeah, let me get into maybe prions a little bit. Yeah, so we have prion proteins in like their normal state in our bodies right now.
Yeah.
And then there's the infectious form. So it's the same sequence of amino acids, which is like the building blocks. But then, so the infectious form takes the folded shape. And the sporadic version, the most common one of the options is that it just spontaneously changes. Now, it's like the leading theory is just, this just kind of happens to you.
Okay.
I don't understand.
Today's the day.
Yeah, I don't understand. And then a year later, you're dead. Yeah, and they clump together too, which is a weird thing. So it's just like they just kind of bunch up and then burn out the neurons in your brain, I guess. I don't know. It's that even that's not really quite understood, like how that happens, but it kind of makes sense. Like, they're not just kind of flowing and then getting filtered out. It's just they're creating these little bundles like in your brain tissue. It's not good. It's like you have gravel brain. It's pretty scary.
Oh, gravel brain. Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. That kind of gets back to the mad cow disease. So that they were recognized as being like the cause of that. So I think that research and that information is kind of being applied now to the Creutzfeldt-Jakob.
That's reasonable.
It's really weird that it's like not that's kind of the thing that's stuck to me is it's not DNA or RNA. It's not like a disease, like a virus or bacteria. It's something totally different than what causes most every other disease.
Right.
Seems like. I don't think anyone really knows anything more than what I'm saying.
Right.
Even like leading people. It's kind of annoying. Oh yeah, so up with the structure. So they're resistant to proteases, those enzymes that normally break down the proteins. That folding shape thing too, I think you're kind of fighting an uphill battle because whatever usually destroys proteins is not going to destroy these, but it's going to destroy all the other ones. So like we talked about that with chemotherapy, which is kind of like, just general, there's some forms of it that is general, go in and destroy cells that are splitting.
Right.
And it destroys everything. So like that's where your hair loss comes from. So I think the same kind of thing will be run into here. Even prions are fairly poorly understood. It just seems like some sort of like Illuminati group. It's just the prions. I'm gonna look up Kuru a little bit just because I liked it. Yeah, so Kuru. So it affected the 4 people, FORE, like 4 people of Papua New Guinea, caused by the transmission of prion proteins, is believed. The word, or the name Kuru, is from the 4-word Kuria or Goria, which means to shake. So like people start shaking.
Did you say that was a symptom of Creutzfeldt?
Yeah, you have like involuntary muscle spasms, and like you kind of just start losing control of your body. Yeah, and so this is all during funerary cannibalism. So this is like as part of their burial rites, they're consuming these people. Yeah, so
was that just a choice, or was that like the going ceremony?
I think
like,
that
I want you guys to eat me.
No, I think that was the going thing.
We're gonna eat you.
Everyone. Yeah, it was like your family. Yeah, I think that it's also believed too, like if you believe someone cursed you, like something bad happened to you, that you have to like go kill them and eat them. Papua New Guinea is. We should actually, that would be an episode.
Yeah, I think so. I say put it on the list.
That's
dark.
It's a dark history.
It was 50 years ago too.
Yeah, like JFK was president, and they were killing people. Yeah, so like I said before, the women and children usually consume the brain.
Yeah.
And
They got fucked.
Way more prevalent among women and children. So they stopped eating human flesh half a century ago. But because
so they say.
Because it could last 50 years, the epidemic declined sharply after discarding cannibalism. All right, so there was 200 deaths of this in 1957 among these people, just these people, or averaging 200 deaths per year, to 1 or no deaths average in 2005. So it's like straight up, just you need to stop eating people. The last known victim dying in 2009. Yeah, this seems like the same thing to me. Basically.
Well, across all of the species and the different names that we're giving to the species, it does seem like it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, I have some information here on Scrapie, which Scrapie...
that's such a weird name.
It's really pretty bizarre.
He's got the Scrapie.
I'm looking at a U with Scrapie. This is all like hunched over, really skinny. Yeah, so Scrapie is the sheep and goat version. It's been known of since 1732.
Wow.
Which is kind of strange.
Do you know what the numbers of the population that it affects?
Well, I think that the problem with it's the same with deer and elk is that they're herd animals.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real cure for this. So basically, you try to quarantine. If you think that sheep doesn't look so great, you got to quarantine it and then kill it. Destroy if it's affected. But it can just be in the flock.
Mm-hmm.
And then it might just spontaneously hit in the flock. So you don't even know it's there. And then all of a sudden you have your whole flock is going down. Yeah, I think you kind of need to be really on the lookout, seems like, because there's no treatment. So
it's clear that eating flesh or brains or, eating the same species is typically what transfers this in animals.
Mm-hmm.
Are sheep just coming in contact with
again
brain matter or leftovers
if they're being slaughtered, right? Then it could be spinal tissue,
stuff all over the place.
I mean, it could be stuff. Yeah, it could be stuff in the spinal fluid. I mean, who knows? How they're not. It's a farm, so it's not like a medical center. It's stuff's going to get dragged around, and could also be you have an animal die in the field from something else entirely, or this, you don't really know it, and then something eats it, that stuff gets dragged around, and then, I don't know, just spreads. Yeah. And I have Scrapie here. Scrapie transmission is saying, again, it's indicated that prions infect sheep and goats, and they're able to persist in soil for years. Oh, I forgot about this too. This is also, I think, a thing in deer, infectious placenta or amniotic fluid. So if they're giving birth and they have it, it'll be in the placenta.
Ooh.
So then that's just on the ground or wherever it is they give birth. And then there's a possibilities from saliva or their excrement, which is the big thing in the deer, the chronic wasting disease. So they're afraid it's transmissible through saliva. So they're all eating the grass, and then you eat the same kind of little patch where southern deer ate or this goat ate. But
with the human version, there's no indication that it's anything but
it's but brain
from
tissue.
The brain.
Yeah. The danger with these herd animals, and this was I don't know if we talked about the reindeer herds in Norway the last time.
Yes,
we did. Yeah. It's a similar thing here. So if you had a Scrapie outbreak in your flock, quarantine or you kill them all, and then you got a new flock of sheep, and they were on the same ground, it will just keep cycling. So it's basically you need to kill them all and then never have sheep there again for 50 years.
Get out.
Yeah, and the same thing with the reindeer herd. In Norway, it's such a big business. I mean, it's huge for the people that live up in Lapland. What are their names? There's a name for the nomadic people that live up there. I forget the name, but they're reindeer herders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, apparently, it was a case of chronic wasting disease. So they were going to just destroy a herd of 2,000 reindeer and then quarantine that area from all other reindeer for 50 years. just not let anything else in there. Yeah, the majority of cases, it's just basically where other goats and sheep have been. It's terrible. And it doesn't seem to be any risk of it being transmitted to humans.
The Sami people? Is that what you're talking about?
Sami, that's it. I was going to say Sumi. Yeah, Sami. So if I have a little bit more about Creutzfeldt-Jakob, just the treatment, apart from just getting you stoned.
Yeah.
This is, I'd say this one thing. This is from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Treatment. This is literally all that's on the treatment page from the CDC. Treatment of prion diseases remains supportive. No specific therapy has been shown to stop the progression of these diseases.
That's it.
That's all it says. And so, by supportive, they just mean, we're just going to keep you won't feel your body.
Just going to tuck you in.
Down. Yeah. Information for funeral and crematory practitioners.
Oh.
Yeah.
Guess you do got to be really careful.
Yeah. So not transmissible from person to person by normal contact or through environmental contamination. So it's not this. The human version of this is luckily not just out in the air. I mean, yet is my concern here. Yeah, basically it's just like you got to be super careful with the brain tissue. And I think it's on the same thing here. If they do a biopsy or an autopsy, they need to basically take any tools or utensils they use in that process and like just leave them in bleach for an hour and then put them in an autoclave with distilled water and let it run for another hour or something at 140 degrees centigrade, which I don't even know if that's hot enough for...
Right.
Because I remember on the chronic wasting disease, like you couldn't cook the meat. You'd have to cook the meat at 600 degrees centigrade to destroy the chronic wasting disease, which means, there'd be nothing left. Basically, you'd burn it away, like the entire steak you were cooking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Not a lot of hard data other than we think this is proteins that are folded funny. There's no real indicator. And if you have it, we won't really know until you're dead. So they'll do like the EEG, check for dementia, do an MRI. They'll kind of check you for Alzheimer's.
Just deduction.
Just start going through a list. And then if it's still nothing and like your symptoms get worse and worse and worse, someone will pipe up and say, I wonder if it's Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease.
I wonder if you're 1 in a million.
Like mom always said.
Whoa. So if it is so very rare, then there's got to be a pretty well-kept database on the people and where they were.
Yeah. I have the number of deaths kind of throughout the years here.
Like how many deaths a year?
This is all just the U.S., but it's I think roughly the same number per million kind of worldwide.
Okay.
All things being equal, unless you're getting kuru or some version from eating someone's brain. So back in like 1979, it was 179 deaths, but the population was a lot smaller then.
Yeah.
Jumping ahead, 2015, we had a big year with 481.
Record year.
So that was a little bit more. It was like 3.5 deaths per million. 2012, we had 380. Pretty much from...
It's pretty small.
From 2007, we had 330, and we haven't been below 300 since then.
And all of these are pretty much within a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
I don't know, man. It's
I don't know.
Nothing here seemed to be more close to a cure.
No, it doesn't sound like it. Or even knowing what the hell it is.
Yeah.
Or how to prevent it, certainly. Where is it coming from? Where is it coming from?
I don't know. It's crazy to me that like the thing that really stuck out was that there's no DNA or it's not a
Yeah,
not actually like a virus or a bacteria. It's really bizarre that it's just because I'm sure that there's defective cells in our bodies all the time that just kind of I don't know, they're trash and they get flushed out.
Yeah.
And it's just
garbage.
This protein that folds up and we don't know why.
Right.
For no reason. But if a protein that's folded up enters the room, these proteins all go,
hey, what are you doing? That looks weird.
That looks cool. A swan.
That's different.
Your folded up protein.
How do you do that? Let me try.
Wow.
And now I'm like this.
Let's go beat up some neurons. It's terrible.
So these very similar diseases in various species, and none of them are cross-contaminating?
Yeah. It not necessarily. So
we don't get this from
no
other animals.
No. I think there were some cases with mad cow that
There was. It doesn't seem like there was a scare.
Yeah, but I think it was like one person, and they killed millions of cows because of this, and like one person got it. Which now I'm kind of like,
But did they?
yeah, I wonder if they did.
And if they did, then it's possible.
Right. Let me look up mad cow real quick.
And why do they call it mad cow disease?
Just because of the effects of, like, as their brains go nuts, the cows,
nutty?
Yeah, they start shaking and they look like they're insane.
Hmm.
You know, I don't think it's like mad, like they were pissed off.
Right.
Unless
right. I mean,
let's see.
Do they act out, or do they just lose control of their?
I think they just kind of lose control.
Body,
like they start get muscle shakes, and
maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't mad cow. Maybe it was this.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, it's just as likely, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see. Between 460,000 and 482,000 infected animals had entered the human food chain before controls on high-risk offal were introduced in 1989. Okay, here we go. The disease may be most frequently transmitted to humans by eating food contaminated with the brain, spinal cord, or digestive tract of infected carcasses. However, the infectious agent can be found in virtually all tissues throughout the body, including blood. When it has been transmitted to humans, it is known as, this is the variant version, maybe. The one that affects younger people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably where they got it. So this is the variant Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. By June of 2014, it killed 177 people in the United Kingdom. Yeah, that's what that was. Jesus. In the United Kingdom, between 1986 and 1998, 180,000 cattle were infected, 4.4 million slaughtered just during the eradication. Yeah, so when they get affected, they lose the ability to stand. Like, eventually they just lay down and die. But yeah, that's kind of nuts that... So 460,000... Between 460,000 and 482,000 infected animals had entered the human food chain, and up till now, only 177 people have died.
Do we see that much anymore?
No. The last person who died from it was in 2014. So I think now they have all the controls and they understand what was going on. But this was also the thing with the chronic wasting disease. They're afraid, they're not quite sure where it came from to begin with, because it's just in the last couple of years that it's ballooned. And it seems to have started in Colorado, and they're afraid it was a cross-species contamination. And with mad cow disease, it was, the meat and bone meal that they ground up other cows that they fed to cows. Cannibal cows.
Unwillingly.
Yeah. And there may have been a contamination of, they were using sheep as well. So they were just grinding up sheep and feeding that to the cows.
Ugh.
Maybe the sheep had scrapie.
Oh, man.
Or they were processed in the same slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
It's really scary. So it has been transmitted to humans.
Shit.
And that was known as variant Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease.
Officially.
Mm-hmm. Prions, man.
What's the deal with prions?
Who needs them? Yeah, and they're saying here, it seems like scrapie may have been the cause of all of this. So something's wrong with sheep.
Scrapie sheep. That's been around a few hundred years.
I mean, that was known.
Yeah.
It's been called scrapie.
Right.
But I mean, there are accounts of this that go back to the Greek times, but who knows what the hell they were talking about.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of
I think you wanted more out of this.
I did, and it was terrifying, which I enjoyed.
Right.
It seems like it's so rare too and people die so quick.
There's not a
lot
lot
of time.
of window
or
ability to try to figure it out.
Yeah. I did look, there are some people that there are some doctors that are working on cures and treatments right now, and they're basically like they have a GoFundMe for tissue. So if you die from it, you can you can donate your brain tissue to them.
Yeah, you should.
Which why not?
Yeah.
They have like that's a weird thing. There's if you want to donate your brain, if you have Creutzfeldt-Jakob, just send it to this address. Like they have like an address.
Send your brain here.
Yeah, they have like the address, and then it's like it's like Creutzfeldt-Jakob Disease Center of the USA, like New York, Suite 4B. You know, it's just some.
Send us your brains.
Give us your brain material. Yeah, I kind of want more about this. I mean, I think it is super interesting, but I kind of think the chronic wasting disease one is in deer and elk is crazier right now because it's not a domesticated animal, but it's a herd animal, and it seems to be transmissible through saliva because it's just spreading like crazy. If this was transmissible, it would be insanely terrifying to me. Apart from dunking your hands in someone's head. You know. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts?
Thankfully I do, because I don't think my brain is sponging up. But no, I don't really have anything to. I
kind of chalk this up to, well, that's just another thing that I can't control, that could kill me.
Yeah.
It's great white sharks. It's just, all right. If I'm in the ocean and there's a great white shark, I mean, there's not much.
Yeah, but you can not go in the ocean. With this, I mean, we don't know what we're trying to avoid.
And I'm already avoiding brains.
Right.
I'm already trying,
for sure,
not trying to.
100% don't want to touch a brain. I don't want to be in that scenario.
Don't need it.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. But it's just one more thing. It's just, all right. My body's going to fail me at some point, and then I'm going to die. Hey, thank you, Creutzfeldt. Thank you, Jakob.
Man, I hope we do something a little lighter next time.
I know. Papua New Guinea. I know. It's like I want to bring some funny and some light, but this topic is just like, no one knows.
It's terrible. It's horrifying.
The CDC, just one sentence on treatment.
Sorry.
No, you could go to the CDC website and find another page that has a single sentence.
Right.
You won't.
It doesn't seem likely.
I've never seen anything except for like, here's 6 pages on,
where it comes from.
Ingrown toenails. You know? Well, that's kind of all I have. I mean, it's just
did your best.
Every now and then your brain turns to a sponge and you die.
Every now and then you're 1 in a million.
It's kind of reassuring that much meat or cows with mad cow disease
that's a lot.
Had that much had entered and only 177 people died.
Yeah.
Just tragic and unnecessary and
absolutely
crappy, but
could have been a lot worse.
That really could have been a lot worse. And I imagine too that they got it because during the slaughter process, the meat that they ate came in contact. It probably wasn't. If it was just in the meat, I think way more people would have been infected. But I bet because it was just a dirty slaughterhouse.
True. Yeah.
Ugh. Nasty. Well, yuck.
Ew.
On that note, I'm Darren McCarthy.
I'm Dan Fury.
And this has been The Fundamentals.
Not so fun.
The Spongy Mentals.
There you go.
That's it. Love you.
I love you so much.